Welcome back. Remember that you can find our top stories on channelstv.com and youtube.com/channelsweb. You can also watch us live on your mobile device. Do that by logging on to m.channelstv.com and download the Channels TV app for Android, iOS and Windows devices from their respective stores. The Channels TV and the Channels 24 apps will give you access to news and updates. You'd also have access to the Eyewitness feature, with which you can share pictures, videos, or news of happenings around you. Just install the app, then tap and swipe to reveal the menu, and don't forget to follow the instructions. And talking about the fuel scarcity that has been lingering in Nigeria for a very long time and making people very sad, we're being joined now on the program by an energy expert, Baka Bala. Thank you very much for joining us on News Across Nigeria. It's been 2 weeks. The fuel crisis looks like it's not going to end and people are not happy. What's your thought on what's going on at the moment?
Well, there are practical things happening. The first thing is this. The issue on hand, are purely or is purely an internal issue. The pains Nigerians are going through today are self-inflicted, and we're supposed to have solutions because we are supposed to actually be the continental hub of Africa as far as oil and gas or energy is concerned. First, we have a clear issue of shortage or scarcity. There is no self-sufficiency as far as distillates, in this case, whether you call it petrol, diesel, and kerosene. We have practical shortage. Secondly, when you even talk about the shortage and the scarcity, the little one there we have has issues with distribution logistics. Because as we speak today, ordinarily, we are not supposed to be hauling refined petroleum products using tankers. We're supposed to haul them, whether they are imported or they are just coming from one refinery or from one depot. We're supposed to haul them using trains and wagons. Then when they get to the respective states, we're supposed to distribute them, right, using trucks. Trucks and tankers are supposed to be restricted to just metropolitan cities. We also have issues with refining capacities. If in 24 years, from 1965 to 1989, we were able to construct 4 refineries. Then from 1990 to now, 2017, you're talking about 27 years. We've not been able to construct 1 additional refinery or maintain the ones we inherited. That on its own was supposed to portend energy crisis because the population has been increasing, right? We have the strategic domestic sector, commercial sector, and the industrial sector all depending on generators. These are clear indicators. Then we have something fundamental that a lot of Nigerians don't know. Whether the price of crude oil goes up or comes down, Nigeria suffers because of our importing mentality and strategies. And this is the practical analysis. When prices of crude oil go up, right, globally, because we are an importing nation, ordinarily, we will sell our crude, generate so much money. But because we are an importing nation, the refineries offshore buy at higher prices, refine at higher prices, and we must import at higher prices. Unfortunately for us, when prices of global crude oils, fall, what happens is this again. We import at cheaper rate because the refineries offshore will buy crude at cheaper rate, refine at cheaper rate, we import at cheaper rate. But that's when we're also crying because we depend on crude oil to generate revenues. Then something fundamental is also happening, and it's necessary to explain this. The mechanism we are adopting is a wrong one. The Nigerian economy is too weak for us to talk about deregulation. We are supposed to liberalize the sector. Any country that is an importing nation, any country that has a weak currency and decides to deregulate will choke and grind its economy to a halt. Then probably one key and final one, before I wait for more questions from you, is this. Crude oil is localized to Nigeria, is domiciled to Nigeria. I want to now emphasize on the downstream sector now, not the upstream. Ordinarily, we're supposed to get this crude oil within Nigeria from the wellhead in Naira, move them to the refineries in Naira, transport them within Nigeria in Naira, supply them to the filling stations in Naira, generate Naira, consume our Naira, and free ourselves from exchange rate differential. If that is not done, I'm telling you, we will eventually grind this economy and choke ourselves to a halt.
Okay, so since all this, and it doesn't seem like it's happening right now, now the DPR says that there is PMS. They're blaming the marketers, that they're not the ones dispensing fuel. Who do you think is causing this problem right now? Because I went out today and it's even getting worse.
See, this is a case of the DPR is not right, or let me say NNPC is not right, then the independent marketers, depot and port owners, whatever, and IPMAN, they are not right. The answer, the truth is in the middle. So they need themselves.
Okay.
NNPC now as the sole importer, needs all these bodies. Because when you come in, you need the distribution, you need the logistics. They all need themselves. None of them is right. Nigerian government or NNPC is here. All the other ones are here, but the truth is in the middle.
In the middle. Okay, so we don't know who to blame, the NNPC or the oil marketers,
They need to work together. The marriage is necessary, but fundamentally today, there is scarcity. But even if we have enough, who do we require for storage? We need all these other bodies.
Sure.
Who do we need for distribution logistics? We need all of them. So the marriage is necessary and in the interest of Nigeria. But Nigeria today, honestly, is being portrayed as a great country of great people, but a very bad model in terms of the management of its downstream sector.
All right. Now the government has confirmed that the landing cost of PMS is about 171 Naira.
Yes.
Who will bear the cost, the difference?
Whether we accept it or not. And that was why, personally, I was happy that NNPC or Nigerian government was allowed to be the sole importer, because it is practically clear now that the model of deregulation will not work. And the reason why the model of deregulation will not work is this. As long as you have a weak currency and you are supposed to import, if you deregulate, you are telling people to go to anywhere, get hard currency from anywhere, import and bring in. But as long as your currency is a weak one, you are an importing nation, you will grind to a halt. What is just needed is internal refining. And when we start refining internally, we increase the number of refineries. Everything must be done in Naira. And this time around, we will not even need foreign direct investors. We only need local direct investors.
So now to a question everybody is asking. Do you foresee an eventual increase in the pump price of fuel?
I will not be surprised if there is an increase. And it is still back to that concept of deregulation. First of all, when you talk about restructuring mechanisms, an economy or sectors are either deregulated, liberalized, privatized, or commercialized. There are some sectors within a country that will do better when you commercialize them. Some will do better when you privatize them. Some will do better when you deregulate them. But in the case of the downstream sector, you need liberalization. And there is one mistake a lot of people do. The telecom sector was not deregulated. It was liberalized. Because when you liberalize, you allow the government entities, in this case maybe NNPC or whoever, to exist. Then you allow players to come in, but with an operating window. That's why you said it's liberalized. And with the operating window, they must not charge above a given amount. But when you deregulate, that means you have no control, and they can charge any amount. And when you have poor or low disposable income and with a weak currency, and you depend on external refineries, you will choke yourself to death.
All right. Thank you very much, energy expert Mrs. Zaka Bala, for your time on News Across Nigeria.
God bless Nigeria.
We have gotten solutions from what
in things like this, we will continue to constructively criticize our leaders, but also pray for them.
Thank you very much, then. All right, when News Across Nigeria returns in just a moment to talk about the National Emergency Agency in Kwara State and what it is setting up to attack disasters. Stay with us.